clearly we're going to be able to get pretty much just a sampling of what our candidates have the opportunity to speak to today. We've offered them a couple of minutes to talk about themselves. We'll do questions from the audience. You do have index cards to write down, and hope to squeeze in a couple, 3 questions today and then give them a chance for some opening comments. So as Kevin said, this is 101, and just a brief overview is anything in white is part of that district, and the Ulster County towns are highlighted here. And the candidates are Claudia Tenney and Dan Carter, and we'd like to ask Claudia to go first. Claudia.
Thank you, and thank you for that interesting analysis, Kevin. I'm Claudia Tenney, as you heard by now. I actually was just elected to the Assembly in 2010, but I've known Kevin since 2003 because I was actually the Chief of Staff and Legal Counsel for the former Assemblyman in the current 115th, which I now represent, which is way up, if you look at the map, all the way to the left, and I go all the way down Oneida Lake and into just above Syracuse. So it gives you a little idea about where I've been moved. I currently represent 27 towns, 18 in Oneida County and 9 in Oswego. The current 101 includes the town I reside in, the New Hartford, and the town of Paris, and then as you see, winds its way all the way down incredibly to Orange County. It's been an interesting year for me driving. I do about 1,000 to 1,200 miles a week on my car. I wasn't planning on that since I had this big Buick, so now I'm looking into a little more economical cars. But a little about me, before I got into the Assembly, never planned on ever being a legislator or a politician. I'm a lawyer. I started practicing law in 1988 in Utica, New York, and actually our family has owned a business, which I'm glad to be at a chamber event and seeing so many of you here. Our business was started in 1946. We're a pharmaceutical packaging company. We also owned a newspaper group with about 8 different editions throughout central New York. We sold the edition of the newspaper group in 2004, of which I was the publisher and president for 7 years prior to the sale, and which is what actually led me to the Assembly. The Assemblyman was involved in a primary, which seems to be my expertise this day and age. And since I've just won my 3rd and 4th primaries in a row, Republican and Conservative this year, and I was looking to sell advertising any way I could as the publisher. I, often an owner of a small business, we obviously take on almost all the tasks of the business. I couldn't operate the web press, but I did just about everything else. So I just sought out the Assemblyman and asked him if he wanted to buy some advertising. And he did, and I sold to his opponent as well, and that's how I ended up in the Assembly. So with that, looking forward to taking your questions and telling you a little bit more about the 101st Assembly District. Thank you.
Thanks, Claudia. Dan Carter is his opponent.
Good morning, I'm Dan Carter. I hail from Little Falls. I grew up in Springfield. My family's very deep roots in the Springfield area for generations and generations, and I currently work as a machinist every day for a company called Feldmeyer Equipment. Is there anybody from Wolf Tech in the room? Not today? Okay. We're a subcontractor for them. They're based in Kingston. I was a former city alderman in 2000 to 2004, county legislator, just stepped down as county chairman of the Herkimer County Democratic Committee. And currently I'm staying quite busy following Claudia around up and down this district, which I'm enjoying immensely because I have a job where I walk to work every day, and so I can save up my gas money for this. And I love the Catskills, they're beautiful. A couple of issues this issue. Back when I campaigned, I actually ran for Assembly in 2008 against Mark Butler. And the big issue with me back then, it still currently is energy cost. And the other one is water now in this race. But energy, in Herkimer County, we have 3 villages that are serviced by municipal power. They have electric rates half of what mine are, and I live in Little Falls where we have a hydro plant that I can see from my house, and I pay double the electric rates of people down the road 8 miles. I find this incongruous. I think that's a main issue why manufacturing and the economy of upstate New York is in such trouble. People say taxes, 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 but energy is an essential just like water. No business can operate without energy. And you wonder why every big auto company, every big manufacturer goes south. They have state-owned electric rates that have like 3-4 cents a kilowatt, and up here we have 14 cents, and we have these gimmies to the different companies that if you create a lot of jobs, you get cheap power, but the residents still get high power. I got into this, okay. Stop. We'll talk about that later.
One of our next candidates could not make it about 4:13 this morning. I got a text that he wasn't able to make it because of a personal issue in District 102, and that's James Miller. He is the Democratic candidate. Peter Lopez is an incumbent assemblyman, and this is the district that, all in white, that being contested for next year. Town of Saugerties is the lone Ulster County town in that. We'd like to introduce and welcome again Pete Lopez. Peter.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be back in the chamber, and I have to say that part of our challenge in this district has been promoting jobs, helping our family farms, and that's something I'm very passionate about. So recently received the endorsement from NFIB. I've been working with the Business Council, Circle of Friends with Farm Bureau. So just to lay that as an overarching premise, a number of issues in this district, economic development is critical. In addition to that, alternate energy, working with our schools for quality, affordable education, and a whole slew of other issues. You can imagine this district I'm in now is similar to what I had before. I do 1,000 miles a week. I have been for about 5.5 years, but we do it with purpose, and we're vested in the community, really focusing on grassroots economic development and public policy. Much of Albany is top-down. I really rebel against that and really think that the answer to much of our issues rely on giving our communities flexibility, giving them the tools they need, and letting them make intelligent decisions about their future. So I see it's 1 if by land and 2 if by sea. So I still have a little time. Just by way of background, I'm a Heinz 57, English, Scotch, Dutch, German, half Puerto Rican, in upstate rural New York. So go figure. With that said, my parents brought me to the region because my dad is from Kamui, and he was a farmer. He loves the mountains. He loves the lush vegetation. And the quality of life is really the thing that keeps us here. So we've raised all our kids here. We're part of the community. We're engaged in many activities. And really, my premise is that I'm here really as a privilege to help empower our communities. So I see I'm getting to a yellow, 30 seconds. Okay. Just as a quick note, in this region, the other piece that I'm a firm believer in, I have Saugerties, but I can't serve Saugerties if I'm not connected to all of Ulster County. And I carry that mission throughout my region. So 7 county chambers of commerce, ward no offense, 7 county farm bureaus, 7 county IDAs, and county legislatures. Each one has its own unique set of circumstances and priorities. So my goal and my premise is we stay connected. So look forward to your questions and talk to you soon. Thanks again.
Thanks, Peter. So this is Kevin's district. I shouldn't say that. This is the 103rd district, which used to be the 101st. It now includes Red Hook and Rhinebeck outside of Ulster County, but those are all the Ulster County towns in that. And this now is the 104th. And before we get to those 2 candidates, if you have questions on index cards, hold them up. Cindy Bell from the league will pick it up. We'll get to some questions following our last 2 speakers. We'll start with the current Assemblyman, Frank Skartatos. Frank.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Very pleased to be with you. I didn't really expect to see so many people here this morning. And Kevin, you did an excellent job in telling us about the politics of gerrymandering and finding humor in it. That was great. I really appreciate it. Frank Skartatos. Currently the 100th Assembly, I represent the 100th Assembly District, soon to become the 104th. I was born in Greece, immigrated to the United States at the age of 14 on the 4th of July, and attended George Washington High School, graduated from SUNY New Paltz, political science, attended University of California, Sacramento, international relations, taught at New York Military Academy. Subsequently, I realized there was no money in teaching, and I went into business. So I actually been employing people since the age of 22, and I've been a member of the Chamber of Commerce in Dutchess County since 1995 with Charlie North. How many people know Charlie North? Great guy, I'll tell you. All right, thank you. So my passion, I think, in addition to creating, helping small businesses and creating jobs, food and energy are my passion. I think there's nothing more important than securing food supply, and of course, as we've heard before, energy is an extremely, I can't think of anything more important. I don't think there's anything we can do without energy, and of course energy is all around us. It's just that we lack the imagination to capture that energy and transform it in a way that we can power our homes, our factories, and our cars. So that's my passion. I'm looking forward to your questions, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. By the way, I live in Marlboro, which my district currently only, Ulster County only represents 20% of my district. And I have a small farm there. We have a few animals. My daughter keeps naming them. They keep multiplying. Thank you.
Thank you, and Frank's opponent in the upcoming election is Christine Bello. Christine?
Hi, thank you so much, and I thank the Chamber for giving us this opportunity to be here today and, express some of our views. My name is Christine Bello, and I'm running for the new 104th Assembly District. It was a district that was once held by a very dear friend of mine, Tom Kerwin. A little bit about myself. I'm from Newburgh, born and raised. I am a graduate of the Newburgh School, SUNY Farmingdale. I'm a registered dental hygienist, and I also attended the New York School of Floral Design. In 1979, I established a small business up Broadway in Newburgh, and I opened up Christian Florist. And for the first 3 years, I would work as a florist by day and a dental hygienist by night. And that was quite a contrast. Beautiful flowers to smells you don't think you could ever bear. And I did that until I could finally buy the building 8 years later and expand my business. From 2008 to 2011, I served on the Newburgh City Council. I was in the minority, and I managed to save the city over $2 million through my oversight and the legislation that I put forward. The reason I'm running is because I'm fed up with the wasteful spending in Albany. And the politicians have passed unconstitutional laws that limit our lives and our liberty. And then there are the ethically challenged, that as we're working day and night to try and meet our obligations, they're spending $102,000 to give hush money to someone who is the victim of a sexual harassment suit. New York needs reforms, and I'm on a mission to try and make that happen. Thank you.
So thank you all. Again, Cindy will pick up some cards if you have questions you'd like to ask our candidates today. Specifically the 104th District, 102nd, 101st. If you don't get any questions, you're unopposed. Maybe who knows? Who knows? But anyway, thanks Kevin for being here, and we will have the maps later on for those folks.